Cultivating the Right Attitude, with two speakers, Dr. Monica Gelati today and Dr. Aurobindo tomorrow. Now, before we start the introductions and everything like that, I will have a moment's silence, a chance to gather ourselves before the workshop begins. So greetings, everyone. The subject, cultivating the right attitude. What does that mean? Basically, it's a very, very essential task that must be performed in integral yoga, because unless some effort is made in this direction, like the most of humanity, one is totally condemned into being yet another victim of circumstance, tossed around by outside forces and outside happenings. So the key is to maintain a very centered poise, and the right attitude is the expression of this poise. It is what we should confront all our outside impacts with. So over the next 2 days, the subject will be discussed by our two facilitators, Dr. Aurobindo and Dr. Monica Gelati, with their own gift of sincerity and experience. This first speaker is Monica, who is also an editor of NAMAH and very much engaged in sharing her insights in online programs. As an aspiring soul, she has used adversity as her window to the divine, and looks upon the cancer she experienced some years ago as a gift of grace, as all valuable lessons are. So very much looking forward to this session, and over to you.
Thank you, James, and welcome everyone today. I was thinking that it's not that all of us don't know about right attitude. All of us present here, although we may be wanting to know more about it, yet we know and have glimpses of what do we mean by right attitude. So let us maybe take a few reflections first. By just maybe in retrospect, looking back at some moments in your life where you know that you took the right most attitude that was accessible to you. So it may take a while. We can take a moment, take a pause, and go back in our memory, or even right now, if there is something that you are dealing with, and any reflections on what do we understand by right attitude are welcome. And what are the challenges would also be welcome, because the very fact that we are here today definitely means that we know that there are some challenges that we face when we want to take the rightmost attitude. So it would be really nice to hear first places where you know that you took the right attitude, and then places where you feel a little bit challenged, like I don't know what to do in that situation. So yeah. So we only have a limited time. So be quick. I can just, do a lot of blah blah. I'm used to that, but it would be really nice to engage because we all know it's like it's not that I am the speaker today and I know more than the people who are attending. We all know it's just a matter of sharing it out and maybe looking at the loopholes that where do I want some more light and understanding. So yeah, please be quick.
See, I would like to see most of the times when we are in a tough situation, we tend to think about the wrong things, rather than taking the right attitude. Small issues are okay, but when it is something more threatening or appears to be threatening, nothing is threatening, of course. So most of the time, mind tends to wander and tries to bring in all the wrong attitudes rather than being the right attitude. So how do we deal with such situations in the light of mother's teaching? So that is something which I would want to understand.
Beautiful. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, anyone else?
I would, since you asked me, I can share it something that recently I underwent, and I think it was the most difficult time of my life because my mother was diagnosed with terminal illness, and when the diagnosis happened, when my dad told me on the phone, I was looking and I was in the room, and immediately my whole body started to cover with the fear. And I think that's the first thing, that to cultivate the right attitude, our biggest barrier, since you asked what is the challenge as well, I think is the fear. That's the first thing that hampers us to cultivate any positive attitude. But immediately when I heard it and I could actually feel the fear inside my body, I instinctively knew that it has come for a reason. So kind of bringing immediately the reasoning to the forefront. There's a very beautiful phrase I heard 2-3 weeks back, and it was said that everything comes as a soul's curriculum. So we are taking here the soul's curriculum. Immediately that phrase came to my mind, that it is her soul's curriculum. And I kind of reaffirmed it, which put the fear back. And I think that was a very good attitude I took, because it really helped me and my mother took that journey together.
Beautiful. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, Ken, you wanted to share?
Sure. Yeah. So I've been finding that as I strive to express myself with sincerity and authenticity, the more that I do that, I find I encounter a pushback from a lot of other people. And it's very frustrating because it almost seems like it's in direct proportion to the level of sincerity that I put forward. I get negativity or rejection backward and denial of my reality and what I'm trying to express from a sincere point of view in relation to, in connection with the mother.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you. Yeah, anyone else wants to add on their own experience?
Hi. Yeah. So I'm very sensitive, and so I always suffered a lot, and I feel because of that sensitivity. So I always want to be strong and not get emotional for small things. I don't know whether, and it's not like small things. I have faced a lot of hardships. So I don't know whether my sensitivity is making me, maybe the ego is making that, or the situation is the same for everybody, or am I making, taking it very seriously, life? So I want to change that attitude. I want to be happy, actually. So this is my take on it. Thanks.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that so honestly. So, yeah, anyone else? Yes, Abhijit. So please unmute, Abhijit ji. Please unmute.
Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. It happens quite often, like, that in exchanges something is told which is not true, or maybe due to misunderstanding or due to falsification in daily life interactions. The challenge is how much to, really uh, to respond to it, or maybe just silently absorb it. Uh, it happens many times in my experience that even without any response, situation and the circumstances change. And in fact, because otherwise in responding, it only gives rise to arguments and there is no end to it, because it is like one likes to believe and likes to hear and likes to understand what he is already predisposed, because it's pointless in most of the times to try to and make understand someone whom you're interacting with. So the deciding point is like, it's depending on the situation. I'm just trying to grasp. Maybe I would like to understand also about that this from these 2 days sessions, that if there is something by which one can really decide how much to respond to, in case of things which maybe is untrue and not, so whether at all, and if at all, then how much? Because it will only give rise to arguments, like responding. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank
Thanks a
you.
lot. Yeah.
Yes, thank you so much. Yeah, anyone else?
Yeah, can I go ahead?
Yes.
Yeah, so for me, I think the right attitude is my faith that, beyond my stories, this knowing that, the universe is for me and not against me, knowing that, I love the mother and the mother loves me, and attitudes like, why is it happening to me? Switching from there to what is it trying to teach me? So even though I get dispersed in my stories many a times, but to come back to my center, that I believe is the right attitude for me, at least right now. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Anyone else? Okay, so thank you everyone for sharing so honestly. And it just tells us that there is an inner compass that we have. All of us have an inner knowing, whether we are able to follow the rightmost attitude or not. But something in us tells us that there is something more that can be here, or this was the right attitude I took. And that is what we have to rely on. Like Abhijit ji was sharing, that how much to stay quiet and how much to actually take a stand for yourself, or really speak out, because most of the times speaking out too much also leads to clashes which you don't want. We want uh, not conflicts and clashes in our relationships or at workplaces. And with Mother and Sri Aurobindo, we have a lot that can be cultivated, and we can learn what can be the highest. So, what I have so far understood is that there is such a power in shifting the attitude within, that without telling anyone, without speaking a word, you can make the external situations change. But not that you are wanting to make them change, you have just corrected something within yourself without any hope of external situations changing. As some of you were sharing, that if whatever outer circumstance is happening, I can use as What is it trying to tell me? Okay, what is the highest possible attitude I can take here? So if whatever outer trigger, I use it as a means to progress in my own consciousness, I can be sure that that is the best possible attitude I'm taking. And most of the time, we will see, and I'm sure we all have experiences, most of the time, nothing is required to be said, to be done, or to be intervened in outer situations. Such is the power. Such is the power. So Mother gives us this example of when she's talking about right attitude. Mother talks about once she went to Sri Aurobindo's room, then there was a storm raging in Pondicherry, and she says that, okay, I thought maybe to close the windows and curtains, make it a little cozy. Otherwise, things may just scatter around. And she says that I went to his room, and there was such a solid peace in that room that there was no paper was flying here and there, although windows were open. How is that possible? How is that possible? So that is what, for those of us who are connected with Mother and Sri Aurobindo, because Mother says that even if some of us become pure gold, that would be enough. So we have the opportunity, since we are in touch with their force of consciousness, which comes through their words, that okay, usually we are waiting for other people to change, waiting for situations to turn favorable. Let this person fix himself so that he becomes favorable to me. We are all waiting. All of us are waiting for something to happen. Now, can I be the first one, or can I be one amongst those few ones who is now stopped waiting, who is now stopped waiting for outer situations to change? Who is only concerned about whatever tragedy has come to front in my life, how can I grow through this situation? That's my only concern. And we will realize in most of the matters that there is a lot of instability within. Every little situation moves us like a puppet. Somebody said something, somebody did not give you a gesture of approval, like Ken was sharing, that I try to be sincere in my attempt, but what I get is rejection and insult. Now the question is, Mother asks, would you still be sincere and truthful even when you face rejection in your interaction? That's my question. And the answer is, of course, for those of us who are true to the path, they would say, of course, there is no choice I have. I have to be true to the path, whether I get all kinds of rejections and disapprovals, because it is important. This is the only way I see for myself going forward, to be true to myself. Just like Mother says that some of us love for the sake of getting love back. She talks about the rungs of love. And then towards the end, she says, some of us just love for the sake of loving. There is nothing I want in return. And why do I want to be loving? Because this is the highest possible I can offer. And whether I get love in return or not, I would be this way. There is no choice that I give myself, because that's the most kind attitude you can take also towards your own self. To be loving in whatever we do. Mother says that if you put a drop of love in whatever you do, be sure that that's the right attitude. So when we talk about right attitude, and again, Anandji was sharing that as a default, and all of us would agree, we are all in the same boat. As a default, things have a tendency to degrade, right? So my thoughts go in a negative direction. I don't have to put effort to take them into negative direction. It's like a taken, it's given to me. I'm born with it. That is why the journey is there. That is why we are born as human beings. So that journey from darkness to light can be made. If there was no darkness, what is the journey about? And that is why we are all given psychic beings, because that's the light that is shining in us, which tells us that, hey, this is darkness, you have to transmute it. That's the light in us which can tell, oh, this was poisonous. oh, this was degrading. Let me use an uplifting word next time. So that light within us, which is the light of the psychic, that we can't escape, but all of us have touch with it. It's like nobody can say that, no, I can't see any light in me. And even if you are staring that, no, I can't see any light in me, there is something that's seeing. What is that something that is seeing? So that's something in us which knows, which sees. It's ever present, right? The only thing is that we have to make it the boss of our house. We have to make it the king of our kingdom, and not just like a side bystander. And Mother also shares that Aurobindo says that only those experiences, like we have a whole lifetime of whatever years, only those experiences are assimilated and taken forward, which are very deep experiences. Psychic assimilates those experiences. So why not live a life which is not just glimpses we get of deep life, but the whole day is a deep day. Who stops me? Who stops me from living from my depth of consciousness every day? Nobody is stopping me. So that the psychic has, it grows well, it nurtures itself to all these deep, deep experiences. So to consult the psychic within. And those of us who may be wondering, oh, but what if my psychic is not in front? All of us have the touch of psychic. I refuse to believe that those of us, especially those who are here today in the session, have no touch with the psychic. I refuse to believe that. It's just that we have to give it some time. We have to give it priority. That no, let me go into my silences. Ask myself, does it feel right? Does it feel wrong? Is it empowering me, making me wider, or is it disempowering me, making me narrower? And we will know what is the right course of action to be taken. So the only thing is, in the rushed schedules of our lives, let us pause and take more time to allow the king to be in front rather than all the bystanders, saying that, oh, I want to rule. So by default, there is darkness. By default, there is a bad attitude. That is why we are having a session on right attitude. And there is no frustration about it, because that is the journey. Mother said that, so all the souls plunged into this adventure of taking ourselves from imperfection to perfection. We all jumped into it with the mother, right? Because that is fun. How much fun it is when we are not able to find the way. Maybe there is a territory in which we are advancing, like a forest or some unknown territory, and we are advancing and we don't know how exactly it is mapped, and we are trying to find out ways, figure out ways. How much joy it gives when we cross our limited thresholds. So that is the fun. We are here for adventure, and adventure can be only there when there is something which is unknown, right? Only then adventure can be there. Otherwise, what adventure? What fun? Everything is known. Everything is already perfect. What is the fun? So it's only when we have imperfections that we can work on those imperfections and see that, oh my God, this imperfection was nothing but a perfection hiding in disguise. Then it's joy. Mother says progress brings joy. And whenever we use our challenges, as most of you were sharing, as a means to progress, it brings a cheerful joy in our life, that we look forward to look at our weaknesses and faults, and so that we can grow further. We don't shun away or run away from our weaknesses. Usually that's what we do. That whoever tells me about my weaknesses, I run away from that person. That is not my friend. But as Kabir ji has said, Nindak niyare rakhiye, angan kuthi chhawaye, bin pani sabun bina nirmal kare suhai. So he says, keep your people who are critical to you, keep them very close, keep them in your house, because the way they will purify you, nobody else will. So whenever we get criticisms, if they are criticisms, And if there is any pinch of truth in that, we can make use of that and move towards perfection. So when we talk about right attitude in every facet of life, as if this is the art of living that we are trying to learn. Right attitude in sleep, right attitude in rest. Where is the mind resting? Am I resting, immersing myself in forest of thoughts, regurgitating again and again same feelings and loops of thoughts? Or am I resting in absolute immobility and peace? That's what Mother suggests. Because when we rest in absolute immobility and peace, then we get connected with this fountain of energy, like we recharge our battery. While when we rest in our own loopy thoughts, all of us know that, we feel drained, disempowered. So right attitude in rest would be this, that resting in the highest possible consciousness that is there. Either absolute stillness and immobility or with the divine name. That's where I rest. So that it's the true rest. So right attitude in work. And Mother talks about, even if you have not stumbled upon what is my true purpose in life, I don't know. Right now, maybe some of us don't know what is my true purpose in life, what am I born for. So Mother says, no matter. Whatever little work comes on your way, do it as an act of servitude, that I am offering this to the Mother. That's the right attitude. So right now, I have not stumbled upon what is my true meaning in my life, purpose in my life. But even then, each path on my life, each curve can actually be a stepping stone rather than take me down. So everything I do it for the Mother. I do it as an offering, as best can be done without any interest. Now, with interest, we come to disinterestedness. Mother talks about disinterested surrender, right attitude in surrender, right attitude in love. Usually, when we are loving, we are interested in loving. How? I'm saying that I am loving so that I can get something back. That's not the right attitude, right? So I am loving because I can't help but be this way. Because this is how I am most kindest to myself and others. So disinterested love and disinterested surrender. In surrender also, when we begin to embark upon the spiritual path and take this journey forward, we think that, oh, but I have been surrendering for a long time. Why is this not happening? Why is that not happening? Why is Mother not taking care of my life? Right? So we all have likings, preferences, biases in our life. And with that also we approach the divine. So surrender also has to be disinterested. That why am I surrendering? Not out of any personal interest that I want from the Mother, just because I know that surrendering to the Mother and doing in every act of my life, offering myself to the Mother is the best possible use I can make of this life. That's why I am surrendering. Not that what will I get in return. If we take the attitude of true surrender, that becomes joy. True surrender is joy. So why would I want something else in return? I would want something else in return if surrender is not joy for me. But if surrendering to the Mother is joy for me, wow, what have I got in this very lifetime? Then why would I want anything else? So that's the right attitude in surrender. Right attitude in love, even in personal relationships. All of us have relationships. All of us have people who we are attached to. Now, the very journey is from attachment to love. Attachment means I am interested in that relationship, that it gives me something back. And that is why I am loving in that relationship. Now, our fountain, we are connected with that divine fountain, that all our needs are fulfilled through that divine fountain. So if I am interacting in my relationships, I am not doing it by any manipulation that I should get something back in return. No. Why? Because my fulfillment from somewhere else. So I'm not consuming my relationship. So even if the person gives me some rejection, happily take it. Why? Because I am fulfilled in the mother. That's the right attitude in relationship. And then we can't be torturous to our people who we are related to, because usually we are very torturous. You didn't act the way I wanted. You didn't behave properly. Poor guy, maybe, he's going through some of his own difficulties in life. So if we can really take care of ourselves by connecting ourselves to the highest, most battery of recharge, which is the divine, then we are not torturous on anyone. That's the right attitude in relationship. That's the minimum we can do if we have gotten in touch with Mother and Sri Aurobindo. This much we should do. Otherwise, what's the point? If we remain in ordinary consciousness, yet we claim that we are with Mother and Sri Aurobindo, what's the point? People may then start commenting that, look at you. You are the same. And we have to take it in stride, because yes, I am the same. So I need more stability in Mother and Sri Aurobindo, that all my needs, and Mother says this, there is a paragraph where Mother says, let nothing else be required for your fulfillment. All the needs will be fulfilled in the divine. All your needs, all your emotional needs, all your expectations, things will come. Things will come to you. Only when you stop asking. And when will I stop asking? When I'm truly in love with the divine. And it's not that I have to stop loving people. There is a beautiful essay by Nalinikant Gupta, To Love Man, Manush Bhajan. It's in Bengali and then translated into English. There he says that to love divine is simpler, because there is an aspect of impersonality there. The divine is not in front of you, so you can't expect much. But a person is in front of you, so you begin to expect. So he says that it's much simpler to love the divine, but to love man without being sticky is much superior, and we must try that. Would I still be loving to a person if he or she is rejecting to me? Yes, I would. And loving doesn't mean you have to go outwardly and be mushy. We have to change our images of love. Love is a neutrality. Love is a neutrality. Love is not this emotional mushiness that we associate with, which comes from Bollywood and Hollywood movies to us. Just like a genuine goodwill at heart and genuine softness at heart. And we see that in life of Mother and Sri Aurobindo a lot, that not outwardly interested in any particular life, but very loving, genuine, and soft. So right attitude in food, we can expand this. Of course, I would not be able to take it into every direction, but right attitude in food. Usually we attack food with a greed and desire. All of us, since we are full of this incompletion. When we are living in ego consciousness, something is lacking, something is missing. And we attack all the things in our life with that kind of, okay, let me have it, like, let me fulfill myself. So even in name, fame, respect, love, or relationships at work, with money, with power, I want to grab it so that I can be full. And in terms of food, we grab it, we hop onto it, let me have it. Like, there is a void in me which I want to fulfill through that food. That's not the right attitude. We all know that. So food should also be taken with an attitude of, oh, this is like, I have to, like, let me take this with an act of servitude and gratitude. That mother says that eat as if I am eating through you. Then we can't be greedy in eating. Eat so that this food may give you vigor and energy, so that the journey towards the psychic may be taken forward. So whenever next time we sit in front of food and there is this greed that is coming, onto us, which is natural. All of us have that. Just for a moment, stepping back from that greed and offering the greed to mother, and eating because just we want to keep the instrument fit so that it can be fit for divine work. So right attitude in food, right attitude in work. We touched, work done with love and disinterestedness. That it's not that I want name and fame from something back from that work. I just do the work with as much joy and consecration I can do. That's it. And that joy is my reward. That sincerity that I put into it is my reward. So there is no other reward I am looking for. So whenever we are talking of right attitude, a few words connect very deeply with it, which is one of them is sincerity. Wherever there is right attitude, we can be certain there is sincerity. Which means that we don't want anything external to fulfill ourselves. I am fulfilled in the divine. Mother is with me all the time. That's what matters. I want nothing else to be fulfilled. And that is where we have to stabilize ourselves in the divine. Because some of us may say that we are connected with the mother. The initial trickle may have started, but the complete stability is not there. So still, because of our old patterns and vrittis and sanskaras, still again and again, we begin to ask from situations. We begin a beggar. We begin to be like a beggar again and again. So to stop being a beggar, are there enough beggars around? Just like I am begging for approval. All of us are begging for some love, some trickle of respect, some name, some recognition. All of us. Just like I am, all of us. So can I be one drop of begging less? Can I stabilize myself in the mother? Is that a possibility? That would be opening myself to the right attitude in life, because then I would not be torturous to people. I would not be interacting with them to consume them and to, have something from them, because I'm fulfilled in the divine. So all of us can be fulfilled in the divine. In fact, we can't be fulfilled anywhere else but the divine. All of us know that. The things are designed in a way. Who here can say that, oh, I got fulfilled by power? Nobody can say that. Have you ever wondered why? Why people may have tons of money? Ask them, have their lives been fulfilled in the money? They can't say that, because the things are not designed in that manner. So everything, the whole universe is just for the inhabitation of Lord, as comes in Isha Upanishad. We can't consume it. It's not meant for our consumption. We may go on trying. Still we will remain empty. We must wonder why. Because that's not the design. So right attitude in work, sleep, food, right attitude in relationships, so that we can use human love as a stepping stone to refine it out of all the stickiness, make it non-sticky. Right attitude, I don't know, just mention any facet of life and we can see, right attitude. So basically to let go of our stickiness and obsession with things. Like, Abhijit was, let me just share a few things and then we can open for more reflection. So Bharati ji was sharing that I'm sensitive and am I taking it too seriously? Who can tell but yourself? And when you realize that, yes, oh, I think I'm maybe being too touchy about it, let go, drop it off immediately. See, once we have the mother within us and we stabilize ourselves in the mother, we are lucky to have known her in this very life. Then whatever is there, I mean, even if you don't take the stand, wherever you wanted to take the stand. It's totally secondary. And when we get the right guidance from the mother, the stability in the mother that we get from within, whatever step is to be taken, we get the right guidance from there. So there is no one formula that I can say, oh, this situation, yes, you must take this step ahead. There is no one formula. For each person, there would be a different thing in a different context. Who would know that? That person himself, herself. So the more I stabilize myself in the mother's consciousness, I can be certain that I will be guided when to take a stand, when to step back. All confusions will vanish. And mostly we will see that in quietness and stillness, if I can maintain that within, all the outward circumstances, people change, because we are not disconnected, no? I am making a change within. And I'm wondering, oh, how come that person changes? Why? Because just body is not the limit. Even physics, quantum physics tells me that if it looks closely, it says that, no, you think that there is a border here, but actually there is no border. When it says that, is it a wave, is it a particle, atom? What is it? So when we go to the minutest of particles, we are wondering, wave, particle, what is it? So there is no boundary here. We think that I am ending here. And that is why there is a separation, divisive consciousness which we live. That I think that, oh, I can take care of myself and that person can go to hell, right? But if that person will go to hell, I will also go to hell because we are all connected. Yeah, so when, only we can know that whenever I make the shift within, actually I'm doing a social service. Because that ripple that you are creating is actually entering into others' consciousness as well. So if I make myself a step more sincere, the other person may not even recognize and he has gotten the touch of that sincerity. You would not know it. Mother talks about it. Mother says that if people would know how much difference they can create by working on themselves, they would be amazed. She says that you step back from one desire, that is nothing. You think that is nothing, right? Nobody noticed it, that you step back from one desire. But you have no idea in the world of desire the ripple you created. And how many people got benefited because of that. So this inner work that all of us can do, it's a social work that one is doing. So we are all contributing to society in this way of doing sincerely our work. Stepping back from desires, stepping back from our likings, preferences, demands, stabilizing ourselves in mother's consciousness, letting go of repetitive loop of thoughts and feelings. This is a great work. We may not get acknowledged, and we are not doing it for acknowledgement, but it is making ripples which we don't know, Mother says. We don't know how much it creates a ripple. And she also shares the opposite. She says that you think that your desires end when you leave the body. She says that your desires piggyback on somebody else who is alive. See, oh my God, like I don't want to do that torture on anybody who is alive. Like I am gone, but my desire is piggybacking on somebody else, and living itself through it. We would not want to do that, right? So that is why to let go of the desire self, the thing that wants, expects, demands, this has to be changed, that has to be changed, apart from fixing my own self. So that desiring self is not our true self. And when we step back from the desiring self, we enter into our true consciousness. And when we make that shift within to the right attitude, we make that shift for many others who we may not realize that we are making a shift for. So I had actually compiled a few things which I did not happen, with me many a times, that I compile something else and I talk something else. But anyway, I'll share a few compilations of Mother and Aurobindo's on the right attitude. I collected a few words, and then also there is a book on insincerity, how insincerity can be a stepping stone, like recognizing our insincerity can be a stepping stone, and we can become more and more sincere on the path. And sincere means, Mother says that somebody asks Mother that, Mother, why is it that some days I am happy, cheerful, very light, and some days I am not happy? So Mother says simple. I'm sure most of us may have read that. Mother says, whenever you are happy, below that you can write, today I am happy, today I am sincere, and today I am unhappy, today I am insincere. And insincere means that I am wanting something else to fulfill myself but the divine. That's insincerity. That I am not fulfilled in the divine. I want that smile, I want that call, I want that name, respect, recognition, that person to respond to me back so that I can be fulfilled. This is all my insincerity. So Mother says that the day you are unhappy, just write below it, today I am insincere. That all my needs are not met in the Mother. Yeah. So yeah, I can just go on and on. That's my habit. We did a workshop on stepping back from habits. So I should also step back from my habit. Yeah, we can take a few reflections and questions if any. Okay, so another thing which I just recollected is that many times we wonder that why am I not able to take the right attitude, although I know that I must, which was also in the beginning you shared. The only thing, and Mother talks about this, is that there are hidden biases and wants. Although I say that Mother's will or the divine will must rule, but that is only in theory that I say. Somewhere hidden, I still have a belief that, oh, so much I wish that Mother's will may align with my will. So there are hidden preferences and biases. And because of that, I am not able to take the rightmost attitude. And that is equivalent to insincerity. So we are the only ones who can recognize insincerity. So for example, we may have a work to do, and we may have been procrastinating that work for a long time. Like every time the person asks, we say, oh, not yet done, not yet done, not yet. Oh, I'm not finding time. But I'm finding time for everything else. So somewhere, where is the insincerity? That somewhere in my being, I consider that work not that important. But I'm not acknowledging it. No, to that person, I say, no, I know your work is important. But see, I'm not getting time. I'm so occupied. But if something emergency happens, like, maybe a relative gets sick and I have to take them to the hospital, at 2 o'clock at night, I am ready to get up and take him to the hospital. Now, where is my busyness and occupation then? So this is our insincerity. There is a difference between being insincere and being serious. Like, we often complicate, like entangle this. So many a times we think that if we are sincere, we have to be like, like very serious and can't smile. Not like that. Sincerity gives us joy. Sincerity makes us light because then there are no entangled threads within. Whatever work is given to you, you do it with joy, you let it go, you do it with joy, you let it come, let it go. But insincerity gives us more entanglements because then we have to find excuses. Oh my God, now that person calls again. What do I say? So keeping it very simple, keeping it uncomplicated. And if we can't do something, letting the person know that, sorry, not possible this time. So a simple heart, a joyous mind, a joyous heart, not keeping too many entangled threads in the being, because we don't know whether we have the next moment or not. And in whatever state we let go of the body right now is the state in which I carry forward in another life. So do I want this chaos to begin in another life, or do I want a simplicity? Kabir ji says, Maya mari na man mara, marmar gaye sharir, Asha Trishna na mari, keh gaye das Kabir. So he says that if you want to die, die to your desires and hopes and ambitions and wants within this very lifetime. Because you will die, the body will die, but that totally, that like baggage of wants, desires, preferences, that you will carry on, because that has to be resolved. So why not resolve it in this very lifetime? Who stops me? So that would be the right attitude, towards this life, that can I make this life the best use of this human life? And with Mother and Sri Aurobindo, it's amazing that for the first time we very clearly we see that, oh, human life has a purpose. And the only purpose is growth of consciousness. Is that happening every moment of my life? Then it means the right attitude is there. Or am I trying to defend my stance? Am I trying to defend my attitude and try to enter into arguments that I am right and you are wrong? Because then I'm not growing. Then I'm just preserving my boundary. And growth is stepping away from your boundaries more and more. Growth expands us. Right attitude empowers us. A narrow attitude, bad attitude disempowers, because then I'm waiting for the other person to change so that I am at peace. But right attitude gives me peace firsthand. It empowers me, it widens me, it brings me out of my divisive consciousness, the ego consciousness, that I am different and the other person is different. So right attitude is like, the key, one can say, it's the key to growth of consciousness. And that's where Mother says that collaborate with the divine. Unconsciously also growth will happen. We can be certain. Divine victory is certain. But she says collaborate. So how can I collaborate? By taking the rightmost attitude. That it doesn't matter whether I am proven wrong or not, but the situation must move towards the light and truth. If I am proven wrong, doesn't matter. It's on the corner, doesn't matter. To not, in another anecdote, Mother also shares, because we give too much importance to ourselves, because I am at the center of the universe for me, that is why we are not able to take the right attitude. So, and in prayers and meditations, Mother is talking about self-abnegation, to teach the many parts of the being self-abnegation, self-forgetfulness. That it doesn't matter whether I was proven right or not. It doesn't matter whether my point was taken or not. What matters is that the whole thing moves towards light and truth. So you are keeping yourself side, this little limited personality that you consider yourself, self-abnegation, self-forgetfulness. All that matters is moving towards truth, harmony, and light. If that is happening, even when I am proven wrong or guilty, it doesn't matter. And Mother, see what divine humility Mother talks about in prayer meditation. She says, if this instrument would not do, some other instrument will work. I know that the divine victory is certain. So see, amazing. Because often we are wondering, oh no, I am the divine instrument, it has to happen through me. Not even there. I may be divine instrument and so are others. So whether the work happens through this instrument, that's irrelevant. That's the right attitude. The most important thing is that the divine work must happen, that we all must move towards truth and progressive harmony. If that is happening and the work is not happening through me, how does it matter? How does it matter? So with mother's prayers and meditations also, each prayer gives us the right attitude. For those of us interested, and Alokda has shared many talks on prayers and meditations of the mother, which are available on YouTube. So each prayer tells us the best possible attitude to take in life. Whenever we are struggling with something, opening a page of prayers and meditations, and each prayer is like a gem. And mother says in one of the prayers, mother says that why so much of this surface agitation and vain, restlessness? Don't these men know that how much solace they can find in deep within, in the calm and quiet of your consciousness? So we get many little jewels and hints and clues with mother's prayers also. Yeah. So any last comments, if there are we can take. Okay, so I'm assuming everything is clear. Wow, that's amazing. So yeah, this is the book I was referring to. This is a compilation of words of Mother and Sri Aurobindo. Insincerity can be changed in yoga. So we don't have to get frustrated. All of us are insincere. We can be sure that's where we start from. And I'll share this compilation, which is available online. I can share it on the group. It's available from Auro Publications. I'll share this on the group, and then there is another thing that I just compiled. I thought we'll go through this, but it's okay. I think we touched upon many aspects of this. This also I'll share with all of us. And it's a long journey, so we don't have to get frustrated. At times we may see that, oh, that was not a nice attitude. But the very fact that I noticed that that was not a nice attitude means a light has started growing in me, which now is discerning, which sees that, oh, dal mein kuch kala hai, like there is something wrong in my attitude. So it's good enough. It's a good start. We don't have to be too torturous to ourselves. We can be kind. And that is how we can be kind to others also, because at times we are very unforgiving to others for their mistakes. So when I am forgiving to myself, then we also know that just like I am on the journey, others are also trying and progressing. So to be kind and gentle. Like Kabirji says, धीरे धीरे रे मना, धीरे सब कुछ होए, माली सींचे सौ घड़ा, ऋतु आए फल होए. So we have to be very patient, perseverant, take it very gently, and know that there would be many ups and downs on the way, which is okay. Yes, Nandini.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask and probably also share about this when you said that, it is a very slow and serpentine journey. Like, it is going to take a time, and sometimes not even one lifetime, many lifetimes too. At the same time, like I have also heard about I think somebody asked mother this question about that it's a very long process, and sometimes it even feels that we will be able to achieve it in this lifetime or not. And she laughed and she said then, but that I'm paraphrasing it, but she said that our guru is Sri Aurobindo, and he realized the divine in 3 days. So I mean, just sometimes I tell myself as well, sometimes I'm very insincere and I recognize it. And then, a thought comes, but it is a very long journey. It will take time. But I also tell myself that, yes, this thing should not fuel my insincerity more. Like I should still believe that it can also be achieved in this lifetime. It's just depend on how much intensity I have, how much that this thing that when my mother says that when we have this fire of believing that I want nothing but just the divine, if that happens, it can even happen in a second. but that fire just to keep fueling it. Because with me, I sometimes feel that, this whole idea, oh, it's going to be slow, it's okay as well. Not again, it might not work for everybody, but for me, I feel it fueled my insincerity a little bit as well, you know. So rather than sometimes I even reprimand myself a little bit, because if something has happened 3-4 times, I'm repeatedly doing it and justifying it, saying that, oh, it is going to take time. I tell myself, no, I mean, I am not being very sincere. I don't have that flair anymore. So, maybe more dhyana is needed, or more reading is needed, or, more meditation time is needed to kind of come back as well. So just I wanted to share that.
Yes, yes, yeah, very important. What you shared, and Mother says that these are insincerities hiding in the vital. This desire self that we have, a certain hidden want, and although we are, and I'm glad that you shared this, that many a times we can actually make it a mask, like, oh, but I know it has to be slow, so let me, this time indulge, for example. And that's the vital within us, that the desiring self within us, which wants to have excuses to remain the same. So I'm glad that you talked about that. Yes. Yeah, intense aspiration, but without impatience. Yes, yes. And that's very important. Intense aspiration without impatience. Actually, there is a difference between aspiration and desire and impatience. So Mother talks about this, and Mother says that if you have a very intense, like a vibration, you can be sure that it is not aspiration. Like it moves, like it's restless. Because she talks about that aspiration, which is aspiration is not restless. It has a lot of patience. And we have this very classic example, a story which we can now maybe in 5 minutes end, where there is the two people meditating and doing sadhana. One is a Gyan yogi and the other is a bhakta, and sitting and doing sadhana. And Narad ji comes and he's going through, and they ask that, please ask Lord Hari, Lord Vishnu, that when will we get enlightened? When will we get enlightened? And then he goes and asks Vishnu, and then he comes back and shares that to the Gyan Yogi, he says that you would take maybe, say, 10 lifetimes to get realized. And he becomes really dejected. I mean, what's the point? I mean, 10 lifetimes more, and he goes back into the ordinary world. And to the Bhakta, he says that as many as our trees, as many as our leaves in this tree, so many lifetimes you will take to get realized. And the Bhakta jumps in joy that, wow, really, the Lord will come. It means, no matter how many lifetimes it may take. So that's the certitude. What you were sharing, that Mother says that if whom we saw today is here on earth, referring to Aurobindo, we know that the divine victory is certain. So to those on the path, to get frustrated again and again that when will it happen, then there is no need for that impatience. But again, we have to realize there has to be a balance, because, for example, Saint Kabir, he says to the ones who have not yet woken up to sadhana, he says, get up, wake up to your true self. It's so urgent. There is not a time to waste. But to those who have started on the path, so that they may not get frustrated, annoyed, impatient, because it's a long journey, he says that be slow, be kind, be gentle. So there is a balance here. Yes, it is very urgent, and yes, we don't have to be impatient also. But we have to parallelly be sincere and to stabilize ourselves more and more in our true consciousness. That we cannot get rid of. That has to be done each moment of our life. Yeah. So there is some sharing. Yes. 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 Thank you, Vidiji. Yes. Okay. So any last comments, and then we can end. And Mother, in prayers and meditations, Mother says that even for the best of the lot, the process has to be long and slow, and it would be with several innumerable experiences of every kind, even for the best. So, and Mother says that it's through all these experiences that we go through, innumerable experiences of all kinds, that the being, the psychic being gains stature and it comes forward, and then we are ruled by it. So she talks that striking conversions are never real. That one day I will suddenly converted, then very soon I will slip back into my older self. So striking conversions are not real. Even for the best, the process has to be long and slow. But the process has, of course, it goes on, and we can collaborate with our attitude. Okay, so
Thank you, Monica. Thank you
yes,
very much
yes,
indeed.
thank you.
I guess the only shortcut is through surrender, and we surrender, and that makes our journey a little bit more governable, a little bit more manageable, and a bit more joyful as well. Yeah, certainly free and joyful. Thank you, Monica, and thank you everyone for participating in this session. And we meet tomorrow with Dr. Alok Pandey, the second session, and look forward to that very much. Thank Monica.
Thank you.
You very much.
Thank you
Thanks,
very much,
everyone.
everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks a million.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.